Not quite. But anyway, I guess I need spangles on my back. This is, they can hear me. Okay. I'm used to yelling a little bit. Thank you. This is TarabRaqs. They're from Berkeley Springs, and they are a dance and music ensemble that I actually saw in the paper. And I don't know if you are, I've been throwing all kinds of information at you all week about what I call Lyceum in the Library series, which I kind of dreamed up last year, wanting to expose our kids to just different cultures, different geographies, music, art, and so forth. And have different kids in the building be able to do different things. Because sometimes the same kids get to do the same things all the time, and that's not quite fair, I don't think. So we've got music people in here, we have history people, art, and as you can look around, you can see we have an art exhibit going on if you want to come. But I'll stop talking and let Jennifer explain what they're going to be doing, and I hope you enjoy it. I think it sounds, so far it just sounds absolutely wonderful. I'm thrilled to have them. So thank you very much for coming.
Okay, and I'm going to use this because I'm more of a dancer than a speaker, although they say I talk too much. Good morning, assalamu alaikum, marhaba. And you guys say, when I say assalamu alaikum, you say, wa alaikum assalam. So I'll say, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum assalam. Let's try it again a little bit. It looks like they're a little bit asleep, right? Assalamu alaikum, wa. Not wa, but just wa, like a dummy sound, wa. Alaikum, assalam. Assalamu alaikum. Good. It's going to get louder by the end of the session. That's okay. Marhaba. Good morning. And so you guys just spoke Arabic. Anybody ever spoken Arabic before? Very cool language. Lots of very different sounds that we play than we speak in English. Okay. So we are TarabRaqs. Okay. The American way to say it is TarabRaqs, but you can say TarabRaqs. That T is kind of a T, kind of a D. And it's up here at the top of the Tarab. Try it and you roll your R. Tarab. Raqs. Now that raqs, it's sort of like rocks. They rock, right? But the raqs also is rolled. But the K sound is actually a call. And it's made right here in the throat. It's really hard for us English speakers to say. But you want to say, you can say raqs or you can say raqs. Kind of hard, right? What a fun language. Okay, so we are TarabRaqs, and we are delighted to be here at Hedgesville High School at the Lyceum of the Library, and we're going to lead you guys across the bridge to the Middle East. You know what I mean by the bridge? I hear that some people have been studying world history, right? Who knows where the bridge is between the East and the West? Shout it out. Anybody? Bob? Where's the bridge from the east to the west? West to the east? Anybody? Very nice. Turkey. He has insider knowledge. Right, Turkey. You guys remember that. It's not the Thanksgiving time. Anyways, so we're going to take this great trip, and let me introduce you to the band. Hey, there it is. I forgot about the map. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Lucas is joining the band. Okay, right. So that's the Middle East. Okay, but let me introduce you first to your musical guides. Playing the tabla in the middle, we have Bob. Tabla means drum in Arabic. You can also say dumbek, durbeki. He's going to introduce himself musically now. Yalla habibi. Very nice, polite clap. Playing the oud, that's the funny looking instruments with 11 strings. This one goes to 11, okay? This is the oud. This is what the guitar comes from, right? Okay? 10th grader, Dakota. Introduce yourself, Dakota. Acoustic bass. You musicians in the audience will know what acoustic means, right? Somebody shout it out. What does acoustic mean? Not electric, right? Playing the acoustic bass. 6th grader at the high school. Give him a hand. Lhasa. These guys think it's pretty cool because they don't have to do school this morning. But they don't know they have to do it this afternoon when you guys are at home, right? Homeschool. Okay, and I am Jensuya. Jennifer is my born name, but it's not very stagey, right? Like Samuel Clemens, not cool enough. You have to be Mark Twain. So I'm Jensuya, playing the zils for you, right? You guys heard those before. Zil is the Turkish word for cymbal. Anybody heard of zildjian? They make those cool cymbals on drum kits, right? From Turkey. Zils. In Arabic, it's called sagat. Everybody write zil. Zil. Easy one. A lot easier than raqs and sagat. Okay. We're going to do another very short piece of music. This is a Turkish piece of music. It's called Oyun Havasi. And Turkey is known as the... Very nice. The bridge from the east to the west. You guys ready to go? Okay, so when you feel the beat, clap it. The musicians play better when you know you like it, right? So fake it if you don't, right? Shukran. Teşekkür ederim. Okay. More Arabic word. Shukran means. Yes. Very nice. He said it. Give yourself a gold star. Shukran. Thank you. Try it. Shukran. Shukran. And in Turkish, teşekkür ederim. It's a long one, right? Good. Okay. So, up here what you're seeing is slides from our various travels to the Middle East. Most of those are from Tunisia, Morocco, and Turkey. So who knows where the Middle East is? We have a lot of work in the next 25 minutes now. Okay, so don't be shy. You've seen it. You guys have heard about it in the news, right? What have you heard about the Middle East? And don't be shy. This is not like sit back and take notes. We're doing it the old-fashioned way. No academics here. You get a quiz later. I sent one to Candy. But today we're going to learn by doing, and you all will be dancing, so you can start sweating now, right? Not me, dance. Okay, what do you know about the Middle East? Wars. What else? Poverty. Princess Jasmine. Aladdin. Scheherazade. 1001 Nights, the Arabian Nights, Osama bin Laden. What else? Gaddafi. What else?
Shout it out.
Deserts. Love it. Yeah. Camels. Anything else? Okay. So the Middle East is a huge place, and from over here on our North American continent, it's a long ways away. And when you look at that map, when it comes back around, it looks like you put your finger on it, you can practically cover the whole thing, right, when you're looking at a globe, or maybe 2 or 3 fingers. But when you're actually over there up close, it's as varied as we are in this classroom. There are more than 24 countries considered the Middle East, which the term itself, the Middle East, is a Western term. You guys know what I mean by Western? Okay, we live in the Western Hemisphere, right? And actually, if you cut the globe in the Western Hemisphere and the Eastern Hemisphere, it kind of divides it just geographically. But when we speak of the West, and when you hear that on the radio and things, we're really talking about the cultural West. Our culture, which is based on European culture. The East we think of as being the Near East or the Middle East. They're kind of used interchangeably. And the Far East being China, Japan, Southeast Asia. The Middle East or Near East being what we're talking about today. So if you want to talk about it just geographically, sometimes when the president's going over to meet in Israel or something, they're talking about the Middle East, they're talking about Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, Israel, Gaza, West Bank, that kind of stuff. But when we talk about it culturally today, we're actually talking about 4 regions. One is that Middle East that we're talking about, and that's called the Levant. Everybody try it, Levant. You go out of here and you talk about the Levant, people are going to think like, whoa, you guys know what you're talking about, right? Or you can talk about the Maghreb, right, Maghreb. Maghreb means, and sometimes you'll hear on the radio they'll say that in the Maghreb, and that means west in Arabic. And the Maghreb is the north part of Africa. Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, not usually Egypt, but that's like the Wild West to the Arab world, right? Like we have the Wild West. So the Maghreb is North Africa, north of the Sahara. And then quite often the Middle East, they'll talk about Turkey as well. Sometimes they get a little bit touchy about that because the Turks overtook the Arabs and the Arabs overtook the Berbers, and everybody's fighting and taking everybody over, right? Which has been going on through history on almost every single continent, correct? So you don't really want to call a Turk an Arab a Turk, but they have similar roots in music and dance, which is what I like. Okay, and then sometimes in the Middle East you can also be talking about ancient Persia, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, some of those areas. And even parts of Eastern Europe have Middle Eastern influences. What causes all this stuff to travel? That's a little handy. Wars, trade, yes. Trade from ancient times. And in fact, a lot of people first practicing this type of dance do it to Celtic music. That music went all the way up there. There's similar types of feelings. So wars, trade, that sort of thing. You guys will learn that in history class, right? Okay, so that's the Middle East. If you have questions, throw your hand up or wait till the end. We'll have time for questions too. Also, what's the difference between a generalization and a stereotype? Okay, she said a generalization be more truthful and a stereotype might not cover everything. And I would agree with that. We tend to think of a generalization maybe as being more positive and a stereotype more negative. Why do we as humans make generalizations and stereotypes? Well, stereotypes are fun. Lots of jokes based on it, right? It's fun. As long as you keep it good-hearted and you're laughing at yourself and everything for fun, then that's a good thing. A generalization is because our human brains, we like to organize stuff, even if you guys are slobs at home, because nobody is, right? Anybody slob? Yeah. Put your hand on, I know that. But our brains like to organize. So if we can't set something into what we already know, we tend to think of it as being weird, freakish, scary. And then sometimes we'll give it a stereotype. All Arabs are terrorists. True? Of course not. Yeah, there's like a couple of them, just like we have some freaks here in the United States who do stupid things like up in Boston, right? But we're not going to say that everybody's that way. It's a stereotype. These things that the band are wearing, you know what these things are called? The scarves. Anybody know? Anybody ever seen one? Yeah, anybody seen the Saudis? They walk around with them black and white with a cool black band and sunglasses looking very cool. It's very nice. They don't have to worry about doing their hair up or doing their eyes, right? just go around looking at this cool outfit. These are called kafia. And it's a scarf. And what happened was, in history, in the people who are oppressed tend to want to kick back, right? I'm not going to do any homework. It's too much, so you want to kick back, right? And nations do that, and peoples do that. And so at one point, many decades ago, there was a people's movement, and they said, we're going to take our scarves, our kafia, which at that time were mostly black and white or red and white, and we're going to wear them, and these are the clothing of the people, because, you know, the desert's hot and sandy, and it keeps the sand and stuff out of the face, and so it was a very practical thing to wear. And they made these statements, these protests. The media came in from the West and was like, we're taking a picture of that. That's a great shot. We're going to put that on the cover of the New York Times. It's great. And so what happens is over here, remember, we're looking over there, and you know, our finger can cover the whole area. So psychologically, we're like, it doesn't mean anything over there. And so we decide that kafia means something bad. It means bad things, terrorists. It's not. It's just something that's taken out of context, put a stereotype on it, because our brains that want to organize things say, okay, that means bad. So what's actually going on now is that it's sort of representing a good thing, because it means that people taking charge and people being strong. Arab Spring, you guys remember that a couple of years ago? So now they make them in all different colors and people wear this fashion. Cool fashion, right? Yeah? Okay, so remember, when you're looking at new people and new ideas and weird music and stuff, that you might think first scary or freakish, and then say to yourself, why am I thinking that? Well, mostly because maybe I don't know about it yet. So that's what we're here to do today, is talk about some of the fun stuff, not so much of the politics, but the music and dance. So this big area, we're talking about the Middle East, which includes the Maghreb, the Levant, the Khaliji, try that one. Khaliji, right? That's the Gulf region. You guys have heard of that. And Turkey, Afghanistan, that sort of thing. That's what we talk about as the cultural Middle East. All of those areas share a common language, being Arabic, right? Not everybody speaks Arabic, but it's a very common language there. A religion, not the only religion, but a major religion of the region is Islam, right? And if somebody practices Islam, you call that person a Muslim. Very nice. And then the other thing that unites that area for us here today is the roots of music and dance, which is my favorite part. These roots have moved actually from India into the Middle East. They've moved around North Africa, the Maghreb, up into Spain, and turned into flamenco, right? Flamenco guitar, flamenco dance. They moved up into Eastern Europe and became gypsy or Roma. So a lot of the same roots. You know, we're all people, we're all related. Okay, so let's learn how to have some fun in the Middle East. When you're having a good time in the Middle East, generalization here, you make a lot of noise, right? Okay, and like at concerts and stuff, we'll go, woo, yeah, right? So if you're over there and you're having a good time, you'll go, yeah, habibi. But nice and loud. Yeah, habibi.
Yeah, baby.
Right. Are you guys too grown up to have fun? Okay. Remember to be a kid always. It's a lot more fun. Oh, right now you're wanting to be grown up, but we were at a little elementary school, Valley View, the other day, 5 to 8 years old. When they said, Ya Habibi, Ya Habibi. Okay, so let's see if we can outdo them. Ready? Ya Habibi.
Ya Habibi.
Okay, that was pathetic. Let's try another one. And Ya Habibi, Ya means like, sort of like, oh, and Habibi is beloved. So Ya Habibi, see your girlfriend, your boyfriend, you say Ya Habibi. Now if somebody else says to your girlfriend, Ya Habibti, then you better start getting worried. Habibti is the feminine version. And nobody else should say that to your girlfriend, right? Okay, so maybe your mom or dad. But you can say Ya Habibi. It's affectionate, but it's not like going over the line, right? Okay, so remember Ya Habibti for a female in your life, mom, little sister, because you'll love your little sisters and brothers, right? And Ya Habibi for anybody else. Okay, if you want to just say yeah or yes, you say Aywa. Aywa. I like that word, it's easy. And if you're tired of all the chatter, let's get on with some more fun, you say Yalla. Loud. out. Yalla.
Yalla.
Yalla habibi.
Yalla BB.
Okay, now here's a fun one. This is something that the women do. Guys, you guys can try it just for funsies today, but when you leave here, don't do it because people think like, dude doesn't know what he's talking about. But when a woman or girl's having a good time, she does a zagarit. Anybody guess what that is? I'll have to do it again. You like it in order? Friday, last day of class, everybody's going to go, right? Okay. So zagarit, try it. Zagarit, zagarit. Okay, so you go like this. There's two ways. You go la 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 la, high-pitched voice. We put our hand there just because it's a little more modest, looks nicer. Or you can do it the Khaliji way, and you make an O with your mouth, and you take your tongue back and forth really loud. Funny, huh? You can put your hand there too. Okay, so let's try. Everybody, guys, try it too. We're going to see how loud we can get. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I didn't see you do it. Let's do it again. Ready? Here we go.
She got another one.
Coffee needed here.
I mean, I have stuff like that.
Okay. All right, so that's how you make a lot of noise and have some fun. How many musicians? Raise your hand if you're a musician, have taken music, know anything about music. Okay, we got a couple. You guys are going to have to be our leaders. All right, how many of you guys know what a beat is? Nice. Let's all clap the beat. Okay, so you're going to have to take out your hands and take notes, or you can clap your hands. Ready? Here we go. Easy. Here's the hardest thing about it. Don't speed up. It's what happens to almost everybody. You get excited or you get bored, and so you speed up. You gotta feel that beat inside your body. Middle Eastern music is based on beat, except for something called the taqsim, which we'll talk about. Okay, that's the beat. Now, what's the difference between beat and rhythm? You can stop clapping. Anybody answer? Beat and rhythm.
Beat is steady. It's what you follow. Rhythm is the way the music flows. What do we agree?
Do we agree with that? Yeah. Anybody want to contradict that? Okay. So, beat, yes, is a unit of music. Like an inch is a unit of length, right? So that beat is always going, unless you're playing something that's arrhythmic, which we'll get into later. But that beat's always going, even if you don't hear it. Even if the drummer decides to jazz it up, it doesn't want to, just play doom, 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 doom. But you can always feel it going in your body, right? If it makes you kind of want to bounce or something. The bass adds a lot to that. Frequently, the bass is also playing the beat. Now, the rhythm is a pattern of sound within a certain number of beats. You can have a 2-beat rhythm, a 4-beat, an 8-beat, a 9-beat, 11, 22, anything. Here in the West, our Western music is generally based on, or many of the beats are based on 4-beat rhythm. So when we hear a 5-beat or a 10-beat, we can't get our heads around it. It's like, something's wrong, because we're so used to hearing things in 4s. Okay, so what we're going to learn now is the quintessential, I love that word, sounds very cool, quintessential rhythm of the Middle East, and it's called melody. Does everybody know what quintessential means? Don't raise your hand if you don't. All right, 7th grade word. Quintessential means it's the iconic, the thing that represents. Okay, so this beat is called belody. You know what you got to do now? Belody.
Melody.
Very nice. Belody means country. We live in the beautiful country of West Virginia, our Habibi, West Virginia, our beloved. Okay, belody. And it goes like this. Bob's going to play just the skeleton version of that beat. Rhythm. Go ahead. Feel it? Now I'm sort of bouncing to the beat here, but that's the rhythm. And we can sing it. Many traditions, when the drummers are learning to drum, they'll sing it. Doom, doom, tack, doom, tack, doom, doom, tack, doom, tack. That drum has a lot of capability of different sound. The deep sound is the doom, the higher pitch sound is the deck, and when that high pitch sound is played with the other hand, it's called a ka. And that's how you learn. Everybody, doom, doom, tack, doom, tack. Sing it. Doom, doom, tack, doom, tack.
Doom, doom, doom,
Okay, nobody be dancing now. Louder. Doom, doom, tack, doom, tap, doom, doom, loud.
Doom, doom, deck, doom.
Bob is going to stop. You guys are going to sing it. He's going to join back in. Ready?
Doom, doom. I forgot the rest. I
Nice.
forgot that last beat.
So that is the rhythm. You guys keep singing that now, nice and loud. This out. Doom, doom, tap, doom, tap, doom, doom, tap, doom, tap. You guys are going to do the beat.
Deck, doom, deck.
1, 2, 3, 4. Clap it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. Keep clapping that beat. Nice and steady. You got to sing that rhythm because that rhythm has to be louder than the beat. Doom, doom, deck, doom, deck.
Okay, doom, doom, deck.
Louder.
Deck. Doom, doom, deck, doom, deck.
Now Bob is going to jazz it up because as with the arts, you know, it's not just a dress, we got all kinds of stuff on it. It's not just a drum, it's fully decorated. Many of the traditional arts of the Middle East are highly decorated. So he's decorating that rhythm, filling in with all kinds of stuff. Keep going with the beat, keep going with the rhythm. Doom, doom, deck, doom, deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Doom, doom, deck, doom. Now, the thing about Middle Eastern music is that it has about twice the number of notes as Western music. Does that make any sense? Like, what does that mean? Well, you know a piano has a certain number of keys, and it has those notes go in steps, right? And then there's some in between. Well, in Middle Eastern music, they put more notes in between all of those, right? Okay, so very quickly, let's take 8 volunteers. Anybody want to volunteer, or should we just pick? If you want to volunteer, come on up. 1, 2, 3, yes, sir. And yes, ma'am, right here. In the back, in the white t-shirt. Yes, sir. Yeah. And then over here. You're hiding behind there. Yeah. You can. Right. Yep. How many do we have? We need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You want to come up? 7. And yes, sir. 8. Okay. So what we're going to do is, okay, you guys are going to be musical notes. So I want you in a straight line right here, evenly spaced. You want to make yourselves evenly spaced. Yep. Do we have 8? You guys, can you count from there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 8. 7. We need 1 more. Yes, sir. Perfect. All right. Good. Okay. So you come over here a little bit more, and okay, that's fine. Good. All right. Now move down a little bit more. We need space. You guys are evenly spaced, pretty much. Yeah. Okay, so now you guys are musical notes. Dakota is going to play a Western scale, you know, like where he's going to go up in pitch. We're going to start with number 1. When he gets to you, put your hand up when you hear your note. You're going to be the first note. Let's practice that. Right, put your hand all the way up so people can hear you. Let's go back down the scale. Sound familiar? Not too weird. Right view, it has a little bit different sound. But basically, the type of thing we're used to hearing. Now, in the East, there are things called maqam. And maqam is like a scale, but it also has an emotion associated with it. So one of them is called Hejaz, and it has sort of these 8 notes. But instead of this second note, you know, being evenly placed, like in this Western scale, this second note is going to be only slightly higher in pitch than the first note. So you stand right next to number 1, very close. Okay. Then this third note is going to be a little bit higher in pitch. So you're going to come here, stand right next to number 4. So now our first note stayed in the same place. Our fourth note stayed in the same. Our second note is a little flatter. It's a little flatter, a little lower pitch. Our third note is a little sharper, a little higher in pitch. Our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stays the same. 6 is also a little bit flatter. You move right here next to 5. And then we have this other big gap. 7 and 8 are the same. Now envision what that's going to sound like. It's going to sound in tune to our Western ears. Oh, let's hear it. Dakota, play Hejaz. Slowly again. Raise your hand when you hear your note. Go ahead. Let's go back down the scale. How did it sound as compared with the other scale? Interesting, right? What do you think? Like these dudes don't know how to tune their instruments? Which is why a lot of Eastern music, Middle Eastern music, will sound weird to us. It's just that we're not used to it. So we're expecting number 2 note to be over here and it's a little bit flat. So we're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But it can also, what this does is by having almost twice the notes to use as in Western music. Westerners have it too, we just don't use them. It enables that music to have tremendous potential for evoking emotion, and that's the most important thing about Arabic music, Turkish music, is it meant to evoke emotion. Okay? You guys, let's give a round of applause to our fantastic volunteers. Let's demonstrate that now. Okay, let's just play about 30 seconds of a very happy tune. It's called Lunga Riyadh. Lunga is a musical form, and Riyadh, anybody know where that city is? Saudi Arabia. Lunga Riyadh. Just play about 30 seconds. See what you guys think about the feel of this song. Emotion of that song? Make you want to cry? Kind of happy, right? Okay, now let's just do the opening for Alf Layla wa Layla. Alf means 1,000. Layla, nights. Wa and Alf Layla wa Layla and Layla. 1,001 nights. Feeling of that song? Happy? Let's all skip to school type of song?
Whole series.
A little bit exciting there with that spinning, right? And then the beginning of it, kind of eerie, spooky. You guys know this? Do you guys know the story of Scheherazade and 1,001 Nights? The storyteller who was going to, she actually married the king and she was going to have her head cut off in the morning, so she tells a story every night. And he is so entranced by the story, he doesn't want to cut off her head. But you can hear the fear with that da-da-da-da-da-da-da, right? And then the eeriness, so it can tell a story, evoke emotion. Okay, we can go on about that and do more good stuff. But before you guys go, you got to dance. So what we're going to do is learn to do the dead key. And the dead key is a line dance, a folk dance, done in the Middle East, many parts of the Levant. You guys remember where the Levant is? And dead key means stamp. And there it's hot and dry, just like in the American Southwest. And the houses are made of mud, like we have adobe in the Southwest. And so this came from stamping the mud. Boring. So let's turn it into a dance. Okay, so we'll learn one step that you guys can all do in your places, because we don't have much time to do more than that. So stand up, we're going to learn a step called mouje, right? And you can move out into the aisles if you want. This will wake you up. Okay, we're going to start. Oh boy, you guys are like all way taller than I am, so you're going to have to listen to my beautiful voice, right? We're going to start with our left foot. We're going to take a tiny step forward. And again, feel free to move into the aisles or come up here. We're going to take a tiny step forward with our left foot. We're going to pivot 90 degrees on that left foot so that our right hip is now facing where our body's facing. And we're going to turn it and stamp the right foot. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, and I'll come back there. So we're taking a step forward. We're pivoting on that left foot and we're stamping the right. Then we're going to come back around, pivot back around, put our right foot behind us, and hop on it. So it's step left, stamp right, and hop. Step left, stamp right, and hop. Now this is only one of many, many steps. And this is one we're going to do because we can all do it right in our spots. And it doesn't take long to learn, right? Okay, here's the deal. You guys want to try slow-mo or we want to try it at full speed?
Full speed.
Okay. All right. Let's try it slow-mo, and we're going to take it up. Keep the beat in your body. Here we go. You can start out with a bend. 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 Step. Stamp. Step. Hop. Step. Stamp. Step. Hop. Step. Stamp. Step. Hop. Step. Stamp. Okay, let's take up the speed because we're running out of time. Step. Feel free to email with any questions. It was great to see you guys. My pleasure. It's great to be here.